now I am to a point where I feel like, you know, I have to do multiple things in order to even get to the one thing. So I'll be very specific. So right now, I am a producer, but I have to write, I have to edit, I have to direct, I have
Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Banter with
Jaiyana
and Alonzo.
and our special guest,
Mia
Mia
Hall.
Hall.
Hey.
Now, just a little context about who we have sitting right next to us today. We have,
A Van Arsdale alumni.
Woo!
if you don't know,
VA all day.
where
If you don't know, our school used to be called Van Arsdale before we split in three. Yeah.
Yeah, like a piece of pie.
Yeah.
We have a Harvard and Hampton University alumni.
Woo.
We're going to that up too. Yeah.
Yeah, you and this button.
Like, please, Jake. Please.
Yeah, there we go. Just to list them off, she has worked for the Steve Harvey Talk Show, the community manager for the Barclays Center. She is a published author and a professional broadcast journalist.
Those accolades are so important. Like, we're just going to clap that up again. Go ahead.
Yes, Miss Mia, we are happy to have you.
Thank you.
How are
I'm so
you doing
excited to
today?
be here. I'm super excited because you all, are just such great lights. You've started your podcast, which is, something that people want to do, but they just don't get it done. So congratulations to you. You should give it up for yourselves.
Thank you. Oh, man.
I love it.
But yeah, so back to the Van Arsdale alumni.
Oh, God.
Let's start with from the beginning. Let's start where it all began.
Okay.
Where did it start? It started here?
Well, my journey at Van Arsdale, I would say, had a great impact on my life.
Okay.
I had an awesome high school experience. I actually just asked my TikTok community, oh, how was your high school experience? What was your favorite year in high school and things like that? And, I got some mixed reviews, you know what I mean? But I can really say that I really enjoyed my time here at Van Arsdale.
Right.
And yeah, so I actually started here in 10th grade because I went to a middle school that was from 7th to 9th grade.
Okay.
But I could still say those 3 years were some of the best 3 years of my life. So
Right.
yeah.
Do you keep in contact with anybody that went to your school?
Yes. So we actually have a group chat, thankfully, So yeah, we have and I talk about them in my book too. They probably didn't know that before this, but now you know. But yeah, because honestly, that group that I met in my sophomore year, they were the ones to help me, stay accountable. Remember when I was talking to y'all about, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
So those were the 5 people. It's Omar, Charlotte, Tamika, Darnell, and Sammy. We all
got
had
the governments
got the
in
name.
here.
I know, right? But we all went to pretty much the same classes, and we hung out after school and stuff like that too. But yeah, we stayed in touch over the years, and like I said, years later, we're still in touch. So yeah,
That's
and we
beautiful.
just had the group chat popping yesterday because we're Happy Mother's Day to the moms. Yeah,
That's
we got a few
group
moms
chat
in there.
of
So
all ages. Imagine having a group chat for that long. That's something to be proud of, and it doesn't go dead. Has the group chat ever gone dead for a few?
years or anything? It's off and on, but for the most part, if it's a holiday or somebody's birthday, you know how it goes.
It's the usual routine of, oh, hey, happy birthday. And then,
'Cause I remember our group chats. We had a few freshman year, and those kind of those were
those
in
group
and
chats,
out. Yeah,
it went from 8 people
not
down
even,
to
not even,
not
not 16 people. We used to have a
16?
big group.
Yeah, and then it
it
narrows down to chips away over the
Way
years.
over the
Yeah, but those core stay. So yeah, those are my from high school for sure. Yeah, we still stay in touch, and we'll see each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you guys all live together? I know for us, we have this plan that once we get to a certain stage in life,
we're going
gonna
to all
live
live
in this
together.
massive compound.
I
Yo.
love that compound
No, I
life.
told him, he was talking about let's buy a big mansion with like 9 bedrooms. I said, listen, we are going to have separate houses. I need my space, okay? But I said to him, I said, if we get to a point in life where we're in like our 30s or 40s and we can afford it, let's buy land.
Yeah.
Let's buy land.
yeah.
Let's flip the land. And then we can all have houses on the land. Like get our friend group together. We all pitch in. We all have houses. We all have a community. We're going to have a community pool. We're going to have a park for them kids. For them
Yeah,
kids.
no, literally.
Them kids, yes. Bring all the kids over to my house. I love them.
Yeah.
But then when it's time to go,
Just take it back.
Get them out
call
of
your
there.
uncle, please.
Right.
Walk across the street to your uncle's house.
Walk across the street to your auntie over there.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So do you guys like live in the same area, or is it just like you guys live separate lives?
No, we live separate lives. And we actually did talk about like investing into a like building before. And so we still want to do that at some point, you know, when we all like get some paper up and like, you know, just have an investment property.
Right.
But yeah, I'm in Atlanta, but my friend Sam is in Atlanta as well. So he's been down there for like 20 years. And like I've been there for like 4. So but we're the only 2 down there, and then the other 3 are up here in New York. So yeah, all 3 of them. No. Actually, sorry. 2 are in New York. 1 is in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still
So
on the East Coast.
yeah, East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's not too bad.
yeah.
Do you guys ever like link up and like go out together as a group?
Like
As a
road trips and
Yeah. Because I know we had said we wanted to do that road trips.
Right. Yeah, we definitely have linked up. I haven't done a road trip necessarily with them, but half of the group has gone on vacation together. I missed that one just because I think I was in like LA at the time. So like living in LA, so I just couldn't like make it back. But yeah. But we definitely like hang out like when we're all together or can be all together. If not, you know, some of us, you know, at separate points or whatever. Yeah. And like everybody's like either baby shower or something like that. Like everybody will like, you know what I mean? Like come in. So yeah, it's fun.
it's all about like the group coming together. The plans from the group chat actually make it outside.
Make it out the group chat.
I
Yeah.
think that's like the hardest thing. But it's like, yeah, we say this, but then everybody's schedules just don't align whatsoever. And it's like that North Star, that solar eclipse that happens once every how many years is it?
No, but I get what you're saying. It really is difficult to try to get thoughts out of the group chat. Like we can say, "Oh, we're gonna do this." You know how long we've been talking about our permit?
Hilarious.
Stop. I was just reminded with my permit. When did you get your permit?
Don't look at me because I didn't get mine until I was like 25. No, okay, permit. I think I might have gotten maybe like 19, 20, something like that, perhaps. But I didn't get my like license until like 26, something like that.
Oh,
so.
okay. That kind of makes me feel a little better. Yeah, because like, I have some time.
I think I got the permit like as soon as I could, kind of. I guess it could have been like 17. I don't remember, but yeah, I know I didn't start driving until like late 20s. Like.
No, I've been wanting to get my permit. My dad, he literally comes in my room like every other day.
When you getting that permit?
He's like, so when are you gonna do that? I was like, huh? Trying to finish chemistry homework.
Right. Wait till the summertime. Like
please.
To study and all that.
I do want to get it before like the end of senior year.
I want to get it before the end of this year.
We gotta go on a road trip.
I've been saying that.
We have to go on a road trip because once we're 17,
we're out of here.
Literally.
Hilarious.
What is your favorite way to travel? Because if you haven't known, tell them how many countries you've been to.
Oh, I really should count that one day because I haven't. I think it could have been 10.
Okay. And you've been to all 50 states as well, right?
Not all, but almost all. Probably like 47, if not.
Oh, wow.
Like, not 50. So yeah. But as far as countries, yeah, it has to be like I think about 10. I'm gonna count one day, but yeah, it had to be like 10. Definitely been as far as continents. Yeah, I haven't been, of course, Antarctica, but I haven't been to Australia. One of my high school friends lives in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody that was in our class. Yeah, Alonzo. He lives in. I'm saying everybody's name, but shout out to Alonzo up in Australia. But yeah, him and his family have been out there for like 10 years or something like that. Hilarious. But but yeah, so yep, I haven't been, but otherwise, like I've been to Africa, as far as continents, Africa for sure, China, I mean, Asia,
Mm.
and then South America, and well, I mean, really only Central America because I went to Mexico,
Okay.
but yeah, and I'm here, so North America, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm missing like
That's the goal
Europe,
to like
Europe too.
travel.
I've been to like London a couple times.
That's like one of
that's
my
so
biggest
cool.
goals
Yeah,
is
to
to
just travel,
travel.
see the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love traveling. You call me every 2 weeks. You know where I'm at.
Literally, hey Jaiyana, where are you now? Oh, I'm just in Egypt.
No, I'd be like, I'm down south. I love the south.
Man.
Oh, you love the South?
It's so
Okay.
peaceful down there. And like how my family is split up, it's like some of us are in New York and then some of us is down south. And like regardless of my mom's side down south, like it's
It just gets
literally
split.
it's split.
What part of the South?
All over, honestly.
Okay,
Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, like literally all of that.
All over.
I
Okay.
love it
Yeah.
though. It's
Yeah.
so peaceful down there. Like
It is.
it really is. Like it's just so serene. But I think because I was born and raised in New York, I'm just
Yeah. We're used to the
noise and like
congestion.
Like
Yeah.
I went down there and I was just like,
I can't sleep. There's no sirens.
there's no sirens. Where are the gunshots at? Like
Hilarious.
no.
No, but how do you feel about just your perspective being changed if it has by traveling? Like, has it has it made you look at the world in a different way?
Yes, absolutely. Because you get to see the world from a different side, you know what I mean, than like one perspective of America. It gives me, granted, I've traveled to some countries that, they're wealthy and things like that. But, when I went to Ghana, you know what I mean, like, and Accra and Kumasi in there, you could pass by villages where it's like, you know what I mean, people are literally still living in like, what looks like huts, you know what I mean? And like the structure that they don't have as much infrastructure, of course, as us, and, have to travel for water. And, like sometimes, people take that for granted, but, being able to go there and, just see like, everybody doesn't live like us. And like
Right.
I was just telling some students, some interns the other day, that, if you make $15 an hour, like in this country, you're in like the top, I think it's like the top 10% of like income earners in the world. If you
Oh,
make
wow.
six figures, like everybody's like, oh, I want to make six figures. Or, I mean, people could have bigger goals, but I mean, not bigger, but anyway,
Yeah.
if you make six figures, then you're in the top 1 to 2% of income earners in the world.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
wow.
And that's only like, you're like, oh, if I get $100,000, like people are like, that's so low. But if you think from a global perspective, and how many billion people are there in the world? You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
from a global perspective, you're in the top 1 to 2%. Like, that's crazy. So I feel like traveling definitely has opened my mind to like, America is very different. Granted, of course, it's not perfect.
We're like spoiled.
Yeah, it's like
$100,000 now. We think that's not a lot of money to do my
Right.
startup business.
Right.
Somewhere else,
Yeah,
you a millionaire somewhere else.
right. Compared to globally, so most people live on a couple dollars a day. So it's like
Mm.
yeah, it definitely gives you that perspective, and also just like culturally, like I feel like I'm more accepting of people doing things differently because in different countries, like that's just not their culture. That's just not what they do, you know. And yeah, and even like holiday, like how overseas they call like vacation holiday. I feel like everywhere other than America, like takes holiday seriously. You know what I mean? Like
We
they're
don't
like,
really
oh, we're
take
going
it
on
seriously,
holiday,
like-
but they
Holiday.
like even when I was in China, we had 2.5 hour lunches. And
Oh.
that was like the standard. And it wasn't like we worked later or something like that. Like literally they would let you go to lunch for like 2.5 hours. Like, and that was like the standard. So
Yeah.
it's crazy like
Oh,
how
wow.
I wonder,
other
does time like
people live.
obviously time is like
Mm.
it's
Different.
the same
Same.
everywhere, but
Uh-huh.
does it feel like time is different in other countries?
That's a good question. I feel like depending on where you go, there's definitely a different pace. You know what I mean? Like here, the pace is so busy.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like there's a different pace. There's a different beat in
Mm.
different like countries and things like that. And yeah, and even you feel like like Jamaica, something like that. You know what I mean? Like you know um, they move different. You know what I mean? That whole
Right.
everything Irie, like they really, you can really like chill out, relax. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and it's really like, yeah, Hakuna Matata, like chill, like everything's gonna
really is
be
Hakuna
all right.
Matata.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and people really have that perspective. Where I feel like in America, no, time is of the essence. We waste time, we waste money. Time
Yeah,
is
time
money.
is money. Yeah,
Right,
that's
like
what we always taught.
Yeah, so in different cultures, I feel like, it could be different. Like maybe in Russia, they're like, yeah, time is money too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But being able to go to like, different countries where they're like, no, you know what I
like
mean? We're
you
gonna
can
take our
chill, you can
time.
live life.
Yeah, they have different
Yeah,
priorities. So I feel like definitely, like
that's
going to different
interesting.
countries, experiencing different cultures, you can see like, oh, okay, everything is not one way. Like, it's
Right.
more ways to skin a cat, as they say.
I feel like as a country, we promote. Yeah, we're diverse. We have everybody here, but it's like, does it really show that much of individual cultures?
Mm,
Because once you step outside America, it's like, whoa, it's like a cultural shift. But we have all the cultural cultures there, so it's like, why that change? Was that imbalance?
mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, that's true.
gentrification.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I got a mosquito bite.
Oh
Oh my god,
Oh
the
no.
first one of the year.
Oh
No.
no.
No, transfer to me. I've been doing good all year.
Right.
Is there anywhere that you want to go that you haven't been?
Mm.
Yeah, good question. I would like to go to more places in Africa.
Yeah, let's show that off.
We're gonna
Hey.
get into this later in the episode,
Eh.
but this is Mia's book, Glow Girl. Just a little preview.
Thank y'all. Yes, yeah, flip it. You know what I'm saying? We got the
We
flip
definitely
this
gotta add the link in the description for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. So yes, I mean, I just want to see everything, but definitely, I feel like if I had to choose, I would love to go to different like islands off Africa, like they talk about like
Mm.
Seychelles and stuff like that. So I would love to go there. And like I said, I haven't been to Australia, so I would like to go, there just to see like how that
I heard the
continent is.
bugs there are crazy.
Really in
Yes,
Australia?
I heard the
The
spiders
spiders
there
really
are
are
crazy.
sick.
Yes, they're big and dangerous, and
Get out of my corner.
I don't want no parts of that. You want to go to
hilarious.
Australia? You gonna go by yourself.
Hilarious.
I don't
Yeah.
want no parts of that.
But yeah, I would love to go there. I would love to go to like the whole Bali, Indonesia. I would love to go to like Dubai.
That's where I want to
United
go. Like
Emirates.
that's like the
Yeah.
first place I want to go out of country is Bali. Like I've always said that since I was freshman year. I actually did a report for English for Miss
Oh, really?
Newton. Yeah, she was like, remember that project of where we wanted to go travel in the world? We had to
Mhm.
write it. Yeah, I did that, and
I
I
think it
said,
was a
"Wow."
brochure too. I think
Yeah,
I did the brochure.
I did a
yeah.
brochure. If
Oh,
I can
nice.
find it, I'll show you. But like, yeah, I've always wanted to go to
Find
Bali.
it.
If I could find it,
Yeah,
that was so
no,
long ago.
literally. Honestly, I think like one day I just want to like buy a minivan and be a nomad for like a
Mm.
few years. Like probably in the States,
He's
just
like,
to
okay.
like learn, go
Like-
to the States and just, hey man, I'm living life.
Yeah, why
man.
though? Like,
Yeah.
It's like if I have the means, I have the money,
Right.
I'd rather like live on
You're
my
gonna
own
live in a
terms
van.
rather than just
Alonzo,
yeah.
Alonzo, you're gonna live in a van.
Yeah,
No.
I can live in a van.
No,
you
I used to
can't.
be obsessed with like those van life videos. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I had a period where I was
Yeah.
like, this is so fascinating. Yeah, I used to love looking at people like, living like in a van and being able to go all across the country. Like me and one of my college friends, we said that we want to, get a Winnebago one day and like, travel across the United States. So I'm kind of with you on that. And I do also appreciate like people that are able to take like gap years.
Mm.
Like even if like you save up, I think somebody was just telling me like for their 50th birthday they took like that year off. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be like right now, but you know what I mean. You could do a year, a couple of years. Like people that I worked with at Barclays Center, I know two people that they were both Caucasian. I'm just not saying anything against it, but they had the whatever. Like they were like I feel like in maybe different cultures like they did that for years. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's like now we're like okay, we have access to stuff like that. But
Right.
anyway, one guy he backpacked in Europe for a year, you know what I mean? Just, going around. And this other woman, she did it for like 2 years, came back to work in corporate, and now she's back out. I don't think she's going back to corporate. Like she stayed in corporate for like
Went
4 or
from
5
the
years. And
cubicle to the desert, back to the
right.
cubicle.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
she's like, now I don't think she's going back to corporate now.
She's like, I
Yeah.
found my life.
Yeah.
Bye.
I found it. I found my passion.
Speaking of gap years, though, did you take a gap year anywhere in your career or
Like
academic
before
career?
university as well.
That's a good question. So I didn't take a gap year, but I
Okay.
did take a sabbatical. So I did take 3 months off. I did have, unfortunately, a tragedy happen to me. I had a partner, and we were like a month away from getting engaged. Well, at least that's what they told me after he passed away. And yeah,
Oh,
he
I'm
passed
so
away.
sorry.
So
I'm
thank you,
sorry.
thank you. But yeah, he lived. That was one thing. Like how Drake's like everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Like he was
Mhm.
somebody that lived. So so I did give myself a time, and thankfully my job did too. When I was working with Steve Harvey Global, they gave me opportunity to take a sabbatical. So I took
Okay.
3 months off to just like travel. I mean, I didn't go far, but like, and just like, grieve, reflect, like just, live life. So I do want to take that, like, again, when it's not like, I'm like not grieving and stuff like that. But yeah, and at some point I was thinking about a year before that happened too. So it was so interesting that, then he passed and I was like, oh wow, now I'm really gonna take at least 3 months, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it never took a year, but I did take a quick sabbatical.
Would you recommend taking a gap year from high school to college?
That's a good question. It depends. Um, it depends because I mean that's a hot take. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like the type of person
My
you are,
mom,
maybe.
she's just like, no, you're gonna go straight. I was like, whoa.
Right. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
I
Yeah.
think for me, like the way my grandfather explained it was we've talked about it. He's just like, you have to have a lot of discipline in
Yeah,
order
that's
to
the
do
thing,
that.
to go
'Cause it's
back.
like you can get so distracted in that 1 year you're not
Yeah.
focused on
You
school.
get
Then it's just
so
like, how do I
used to
get
just
back
not
into
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you gotta have something to do. It's just
That's
not just a
yeah.
year where you like,
Yeah.
Oh
Just
no, no,
chilling.
no,
yeah.
just chilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, definitely want to relax, of course.
Yeah.
Take
Mhm.
these the high school is killing us. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, especially because we're in junior year. Like,
I have
yo,
stickers on my laptop for
like,
for studying like
no, it's literally killing us. So I definitely do want to take some time off to just
Mhm.
like calm down, reflect, like on my whole high school experience, and like get ready for that next chapter in life.
Yeah.
But I feel like my family, they're so like, no, you need to go straight to it. But I feel like I would have the discipline to like take time off to reflect for myself and then get back to it, because if I didn't, I wouldn't even be considering it. I'd be like, no, I'm going right.
No, yeah,
Get out of school in Jewel. I'm literally going down South July. No.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, I think that I think I think it can be beneficial. Yes, you do have to know who you are, but then again, like sometimes taking that gap year can like kind of, give you more of a sense of who you are.
are,
You know what I mean? So it's like, and especially because I don't feel like you should pay for school at this point. Like, at least colleges, there's so many scholarships, so many like, so much funding available, especially if it's a situation where, you know, you didn't find enough scholarships or something like that, like, or you didn't find any fellowships or a school that would give you a scholarship.
Mhm.
I would recommend that person instead of going into debt, paying all these
Right.
thousands of dollars for school, take a year and try to either get into a school, you know what I mean, where they'll let you go for a free ride or, still work on your scholarships. Cause I don't think, like going into all that debt for school it's unnecessary.
Right.
So yeah, I would say if somebody wanted to do it, I would recommend it because you never know.
You never know.
And then people say that, you might get off, but who knows if you're ever even,
On?
like,
Right.
yeah, supposed to be back on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because some
Right.
people, like they don't either go to college or don't finish college or they find a trade and they, you know what I mean, are successful in whatever their trade is. You know what I mean? Like, so, maybe it'll show you really what to do.
Right. You said something interesting about like finding yourself. I know a lot of people that some people claim that they got it all together. Other people's just like, I don't know where to go, how to start. I think like as somebody who's still trying to find their true selves and just, growing into this world, how do you like it seems like measuring like your growth is the most difficult part. How do you measure growth?
That's good. That's a good question. Huh? How do you measure your growth? Right. Like, how do you even know that you've grown like from year to year?
Mhm.
Right.
Mm, that's good. I feel like I like not making the same mistakes.
Mm.
Like I'm trying to like, like try to
You know
kind
my
of put this in
catchphrase, don't be the same fool
Fool
twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like I feel like, that is kind of like a sign of growth where it's like, oh, I remember this happened before and I made a different decision, but now,
Right.
like I learned my lesson actually. So yeah, I would say that's a sign of growth. I mean, you can always say, hmm, I think what else? And internally too, like how you feel when you're doing things. As far as like, your confidence, you can have like more confidence. I feel like sometimes I'll judge myself like that. And then honestly, I mean, like if I set goals, and usually I do, like I'm like, okay, I want to do this by this time, do this by this time. As I accomplish them, I do feel like,
Right.
I've grown. Um, yeah, I would say yeah. So that's why I think that's why it's good to kind of like have milestones that you want to reach or like,
Right.
goals that you still want to set for yourself, even if it's like habits that you want to build, because you can track like, okay,
Right.
I've built this habit, things like that. I feel like you were asking that after, we were kind of talking about people finding themselves. So I don't want to be like um too technical with the
Mm-hmm.
answer. So if I didn't answer it correctly, like let me know, like, or if you
Yeah.
were wondering in
No,
another way, like let me
no, I
know.
definitely get what you're saying. It's interesting too because it's like everything you're saying just is it's representative of like knowing what you want to achieve and like recognizing it. And I think that's like that's one thing that I had to learn. I think I learned it well, but I'm still learning it now. It's just like having patience to see your ideas grow, because it's not going to grow overnight.
You
You know
know
what I
something
mean?
you said though? You said that some people feel like they got it all together. I feel like that's the biggest myth ever. There
Right.
is nobody on planet Earth that has it all
All
together.
Right.
Like it's one aspect in their life that is not completely suitable for them. So I feel
Is
like
that? Do you think that's like human nature?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're human.
You're
You're not a
human, right?
robot. Nobody's perfect. Somebody being like, "Nah, I got it all figured out." What do you have figured out? though?
Buddha.
like, please, like, what are you talking about right now? I don't think that's true. That's like one of the biggest myths. Nobody has it all figured out. Everybody is still learning.
Learning.
Everybody is still living for the first time. How
Right.
could you have it all figured out if this is your first time living?
Right. This world, despite how small the world can be, it's also big for you to just dive deep into anything at any moment, you know? And it's like, I think the one way that I've been trying to, oh, cameras. Yeah, it's the 3 minutes left. But but one thing that I've been trying to do is just like journal. But journaling is so hard.
It really
Like
is.
I go to it,
Consistently.
I go and I just stop. But like I'm trying to work on the discipline to keep doing
Yeah,
it.
no, but I
Yeah.
feel like also journaling is like your own path. If it's not for you
Yeah.
to consistently journal every day, that's okay. And I had to figure that out too, because I always thought like I used to journal back when I was in middle school, because my mom had told me it would be better for me to do that. Then I'd start doing it, stop doing it, start doing it, stop doing it, and I was just like, well, maybe this is not meant for me because I'm not consistent. But it's like it's your own path. Like
Yeah.
if you feel like journaling in July and then picking back up in December, that's on you. Like
Yeah,
that's
you
for
know,
you.
it's like what stages of your life do you want to document? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever journaled?
Yes, I have, but I have like been off and on and off and on.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I do, like, I'm a big proponent of that, especially like when you feel like um down. I feel like, like, I
Mhm.
feel like it's a form of therapy, being able to journal and
Yeah.
Right.
reflect and things like that. So
I think like finding an outlet, it can't just be one thing, because like we all have different emotions. And like having those different emotions, like some emotions, like you said, like would want to look at photos rather than writing, or some emotions would rather sleep or eat rather than, like, or confiding into somebody. I just think like understanding the different emotions and how that helps with therapy. I feel like for me, what I've recently been doing is just like, is I like to be productive sometimes. And then other times I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't want to do nothing.
I don't want to do nothing. And it's just like giving myself that time. I think Jake and I was talking about it, like just managing multiple passions and just like allowing yourself to do that. And I remember us talking about it a
yeah,
bit
we
on
did
the
talk
Zoom.
about that.
Can you tell the audience just like, how do you manage different passions? How do you go about that?
Ooh, yes. Do I manage it well? I'm not sure. No, I'm kidding. But and just before we stop talking about journaling real quickly,
Mhm.
have you guys read The Artist Way or
The
heard of
Artist
it?
Way? No.
Yeah.
Put that on the book list.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. She's a big proponent of journaling, but and it just has a cool way of um looking at life as a creative, really. Like it's an artist, but pretty much now everybody calls it creatives. But so, and I would even say for managing multiple things, it's a good it's a good book for those that want to do that as well, or multi hyphenates.
Mm.
So being a multi hyphenate and managing different passions, honestly, my schedule, I mean, my planner is very good for that. Um, and honestly, like, when I think about it, it's not all like, how do I say this? It's not all work related. So
Mm.
for work, I do like, or at least when I was first starting, I do think that there is something to, focusing on one thing, building that skill, and being able you know, um, to do everything else that you want to do after. Um, but those
Let's
and
get.
podcasts, films. Thank you. So yep. So, but now if I don't have anybody that's gonna hire me for a project, I have to hire myself.
Right.
So I have to record my own videos. You see, I'm
Yeah.
capturing content right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have to record my own content. I have to edit it. I have to be consistent on my platforms. You know what I mean? So that people can be aware of it. And I have to manage that. So I just make sure I schedule things when I can, and not try to not beat myself up for not having like one thing that I'm doing,
Right.
because these days like you need those multiple skills. You know what I mean? So and then some things I just do for fun. Like you have to like recharge your creativity. I think we kind of talked about that last time too.
Right.
Like so I have to kind of like play basketball, or go to the gym, or just like go to the park, go hiking, like do different fun things, travel, you know what I mean, like so that it can recharge or like spark my
Spark more
other
like
yeah, my other
motivation, right?
passions.
Right.
Mm.
I definitely get that. Like as a creative, which I think everybody is a creative, but
Pretty
like
much.
in different ways, it's like sometimes burnout can be so like dismotivating
Yeah.
from certain things. Like
I get that.
I remember I took a 5 year break from drawing. Like I just did not draw. And it's just like I don't
Mm.
like that burnout that's associated with that creative side for me. And I think that's like another reason why I don't want to go into architecture, because art isn't a passion, or like isn't a passion that I see as a career.
Me
It's
either. Yeah.
it's more something that I see as a hobby, as a secondary way to like you said, release and just gain more creative
Mm.
motivation. But as a career, I just that burnout, it would leave me stuck.
Question though, speaking of executive producing, something we talked about earlier in before the episode started, would you want to executive produce like a reality TV show, like being a consumer of it? I'm just interested because I'm
Oh
like, I know
man.
after I watched like episodes of like Love and Hip Hop or something, I see the executive producers' names and like it's certain rules that they have to abide by, certain things they have to do. I feel like executive producing a reality TV show would be different than like a talk show or like an actual
Yeah.
like you know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So I I don't have a reality talk show. I mean, reality talk show, a reality TV show in my head,
Mhm.
but working on. I mean, but I do want to be the type of producer that can amplify voices that are often either underserved or marginalized, and they
Mm.
don't get opportunities to put their ideas out there. So if you came to me and pitched me a reality TV show, you know what I mean, and I was like, ooh, this is cool, like it's aligned with like my goals and my passions and like what I like and what I want to do, then I want to be like, you know what, I'm going to help her get the money to get this made, you know what I mean. So it doesn't mean that I won't ever executive produce a reality TV show, but I would love to hear from, what I mean, like especially like young black woman, you know what I mean, like who's from marginalized, basically communities. So I'm like, okay, what do you have to say? Okay, you want to produce this? All right, let me put the pieces together. Let me see who can give you the funding. Let me see which network will want to sponsor this, and
Right.
like who can we, what brands can we get to connect to this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I would be like that executive producer. So I would if I liked the idea.
Okay,
Right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Uh huh.
No, burnout can
It
literally
can.
connect to that because I know when I was younger, I was working. I was so excited to like.
Hmm.
I was working on a book, like drawing, narrating. Like,
Oh
I
man.
was working on so many books when I was younger. I would get my father to draw characters because my father he can draw like
Hmm.
really good, like illustrate
Mm.
Oh really?
beautifully. Like I can show you some things if he
Hmm.
still has it, but
He looks like
like
a creative.
yo to the T.
Hmm? Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
put some
yeah.
pictures
Oh,
up.
nice.
I'll send you
Okay,
the
yeah,
pictures.
that's dope.
Like literally, like used to sit with him for hours and just make things. And I feel like as I got older, I kind of lost like not even the passion to do that, but it was so many other things I
Hmm.
had to do, so many different type of like events I had to go through school, extracurricular. Like I really didn't even have time for it. So I feel like I put it on my passion on the back
Right.
burner because I was burnt out.
Right. It's
So
like
it's like,
allocating time to do that. And it's also like what you were saying just about uh knowing that it's not work. And I think sometimes like you have like this demanding parent in the back of your head where it's like, this is work. You have to get this done and you have to do this. And I think sometimes with passions, it's just like, okay, I have this passion, but I want to turn it into a project and I want to revel over it. But sometimes it's just like just do what you want to do and let it, like you can revel later. You know what I mean? Like you can look back at it. It's more about like producing the things that you want to produce rather than forcing yourself to sit down and work on it when life be life.
oh man,
It does.
definitely
Yup.
do.
But I want to segment this into Mia's book, Glow Girl. Can you talk more about this? Because I know you had said something about marginalized communities and young Black women, and Glow Girl is the perfect book for that.
Yes, very excited about this. I have been greatly impacted when I was in high school. Like I already told y'all, my time at Van Arsdale was a great experience, not only because, um, I guess my teenage years was a great experience, not only because of Van Arsdale and all the great teachers and, deans, counselors here, but because of the programs that I was in outside of school. And so many programs poured into me that, when I was prompted, I won't say that it was my idea. Um, I used to, like, when I was maybe 10 years ago, I was in like some speaking programs, and one of them led by Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Um, he he and his partner CJ, you know, um, I was going into the program, and my platform was recent college graduates and career women like looking to get their dream job, because I was like, you know, the jobs that I wanted, I had worked at the WNBA first, and then um, was able to go on to Black Enterprise. We talked about Barclays Center, all that stuff. But the New York Knicks, shout out to the Knicks. I hope they win.
Yes.
But but yeah, so so I was like, yeah, I could help other women get their dream jobs, but they were like, okay, we love that, but you know what I mean, like, what about if you spoke to high school girls? Because they was like, because part of your story, of how this program where the first time you saw women that looked like you in corporate offices, was through Power Play NYC, which is, was my after school program. They were like, what if you did that for other girls? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, let me think about that. And so they was like, yeah, you should target high school girls. So that's where Brown Girls Glow came from.
Right.
So had Brown Girls Glow, did some programs out in Los Angeles, with a few different cohorts. So I created a whole curriculum and, things like that. And then last year, I had a milestone birthday, and I was like, I really want to. I've always wanted to write a book. Well, I've wanted to write a book for a long time, but I was like, I really want to do it like before, like during this milestone year, I'm
Right.
gonna write a book. So yeah, I just called a couple friends that I knew that wrote books before, and I was like, all right, like I need some help, I need some coaching. So got into this program, and yeah, and started working on Glow Girl. So the book has been a journey, and I focused on growing, leading, overcoming, and winning. Like that's what it empowers teenage girls to do. And I focused on those things because I just wanted something that maybe girls wouldn't necessarily learn in high school to be given to them. Principles and like tips and advice, that was coming from like their big cousin or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or big sister or auntie. I hate to like admit, but I'm an auntie now. But yeah. So I wanted it to be like practical advice. People that girls can walk away with when they read this book, and that they can feel empowered. Like, yeah, I can do anything and be exposed. You know what I mean? To like somebody's story of how they went from the hood to Harvard. You know what I mean? And through Hampton, so that, you could do anything. If I could come from, single parent household and, like teenage parent and, all of the things that, statistically, they would say, oh, you're not going to be anything. You know what I mean? If I could overcome that, then, you can too. And that's what I want, like, the girls who read this to know.
Right. Guys, if you if you resonate with anything that she just said, The link to Glow Girl will be in the description.
Not even if
go
you
get
resonate.
it. It's calling your name.
Just go and get the book.
Get it.
You want it. You want it.
You want it.
Even if you don't resonate, even if you just need some empowerment.
Yeah.
Go and get it.
But that brings me into a topic that I really wanted to talk about. And maybe you dive deep into this book. We have to get the book.
Yeah.
We need signed copies.
I gotcha. I'll be back.
But do you think high school prepares for like life after high school, like for college, like going to an Ivy, going to a prestigious HBCU? Do you think high school prepared you for that, the work that you'd have to do into like these big industries that you've been a part of?
That's a great question. So I would say, in a way, yes. I would say that it wasn't just high school. And that's why I wanted to kind of create kind of like a supplement, because I feel like high school combined with the after school programs that I did go to, with the out of school time programs that I did go to, they helped to prepare me. Now, granted, like we talked about before, no one's perfect. Like I wasn't in there like knocking things out. And honestly, coming to like a high school that wasn't like a college prep program, I struggled, like not a lot. Thankfully, I'm a studious person, but I struggled a bit my first semester in college because one, neither one of my parents graduated from school. They went, but they didn't, like stay. Yeah. And my mom had me when she was 18. She went to Morgan State, but she really came home. I think she said like she might have lasted like a semester because she wanted to come home and take care of me. And my dad, he went like in his 20s to Hunter for like maybe 1 or 2 years. But yeah, that was long before, I was applying, things like that. So yeah, so when I went to school, it was like, whoa, we have to do what? Do what? You know what I mean? I was kind of blown away. But thankfully at the school they had like programs where I could get tutors and things like that to like help me. But yeah, other than that, so other than academically, where I feel like my high school might not have prepared me, the best, only because it wasn't a college prep school. We were on like the list for like bad schools and stuff like that back in the day. I mean, that's why it's 3 schools now. But shout out to VA, shout out to OVA. You know what I mean? But just tell the truth.
Yeah.
But the other programs, like I said, Power Play NYC, like they had us go in offices and learning how to, um, like I think we were doing like maybe resumes and just like networking skills and like, you know what I mean? Like learning about the culture, which is like kind of stuff, culture of places that you're going into, which is kind of like the things that I talk about in the book. And yeah, so I feel like those things, like I said, coupled with anything that I learned in high school, like helped to prepare me for like those next steps. And I went to this other program called ACRES. It was called, ACRES stood for American Civil Rights Education Services.
Ooh.
So we went on a tour of the South, to different historical sites. We met like one of the Little Rock Nine, like, who talked about like how she had to, well, I'll let y'all read the book. But yeah, one of the Little Rock Nine, we met like the first person that integrated like the University of Mississippi. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, like we met some people. So that really gave me a perspective, and I felt like helped to prepare me for the responsibility that I had. You know what I mean? Like you think about, I think they said maybe like 20,000 people or something like that were like killed, like after the Emancipation Proclamation, like just people that were trying to get Black people educated.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like we at one time did not have the legal right to read. You know what I mean? Like people got arrested, killed, lynched. You know what I mean? So like that program also like helped to, I feel like it helped to ground me. Like, oh, you have a responsibility. People died for you to be able to go to college. Like people died for you to be able to, you know what I mean? Like just have these privileges. So I think that those programs did prepare me for like the real world.
That's interesting.
As much as they could. Like I said, not 100%.
Yeah, it's like a combination of multiple things that just spearheaded, just your readiness. And I think that's what it is too, like relying strictly on school to be that step. It's multiple steps. It's not just one, right?
Exactly. So you need those other, I think you need those supplements.
Right. So now I think most people want to go either to a Harvard type school, an Ivy League, or an HBCU.
You know where I want to go.
Yeah, you want to go to an HBCU. I want to go to an Ivy League. So could you talk about a bit about just like the communities there? Like Harvard is well known for being the best of the best. Like, how was the atmosphere there? Was it competitive? Was it interesting? And how was Hampton, the HBCU?
Right. Definitely very different cultures.
Yeah.
But so I will start with Hampton since I went there first.
Mhm.
So Hampton, the community there, at least my experience, because everybody has their different. You either hate it or love it. But I felt like there was honestly almost a little bit more competitive than Harvard, only because, and I won't say that. Yeah, no, I will say, yeah, that it was like because we didn't have the excuse, like you couldn't say like, oh, they're not picking me because I'm black. Da, da, da.
Yeah,
Everybody
no,
black.
but
You know what I'm
everybody
saying?
black.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it was almost a sense of like, oh no, like you don't have any like cultural things. Like you do have some, of course. Like there, I met all different types of black people there, but
Yeah.
just having like race kind of like out of the picture, it was like, no, you better be, you better be on your P's and Q's. And then you see 5,000, other brown students like achieving greatness, and you're just like, dang, well, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
slacking, and they're not doing it because they're privileged or because of their color of their skin. They're doing it because you know what I mean.
It's
Like they
expected.
working hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the expectation. So it was like, oh, I got to get myself together. You know what I mean? So yeah, and it was very competitive there. Like, but not in a bad way. Just like, yo, like you do it. Oh, let me do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, so that was how that
What you say
was.
you was doing after school?
Right. They were going like, like I saw, a couple of them go to Harvard too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like inspired me. And then learning just so much about my history there too. Like, that inspired me too.
I bet that's like
That's a part of the reason
That's-
why I want to go to
yeah,
HBCU. It's like
the culture, that environment of like, make sure you do this. Your mom and pop watching right now.
Yeah, and it's so many aspects of my history that I would want to learn outside because I feel like the curriculum now, like going to school in New York and going to
US
public school,
history, global
US history,
history.
that teach us the same things over and over. Like, how many times gonna hear about World War One? Like, come on now.
Literally.
I want to learn about my history and, different aspects of it that I wasn't taught. That's why I feel like it's important for me to go to HBCU. That and also I want to be closer to my family.
In the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but I would say that is what really helped me to have the confidence to go to Ivy League, and have the ability to, like, I needed, you know what I mean, to really excel at an Ivy League school. So there, like in undergrad, because I feel like I didn't have it in high school, I learned like more study habits, and I learned, about study groups, and you know what I mean? Like, I think I learned how to be a better student because I needed that. And then by the time I got to Harvard, I was like, okay, when we
was
gonna get this study group?
experienced,
Right.
right.
I was like, okay, when we gonna get this study group started? Okay, like who do I need to speak to? I'm using office hours. Like I feel like I learned, that, and how to navigate, school through that. So by the time I got to Harvard, it was like, okay, I will say it was fun. I will say, like, everything that I saw like on TV about Harvard, I feel like it was there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, from people like this one girl, like black girl, she like I think her family was like from the Bahamas, and she went like every weekend or something like that. You
Right.
know what I mean? So you had like that, and then you had like the halls that I've never really seen Harry Potter, but the scenes that I have seen, you know what I mean? Like the halls and the dining halls that look
Right.
like, that they're really like that. You know what I mean? So it was fun to see that. And then, Harvard Law School, and you think about like, oh, Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you think about that and the history, and even W.B. Du Bois, you know what I mean? Like, just thinking about the people that walked here before me. And then you have so much access. Like at a HBCU, it was good. It was all love, but unfortunately, they're underfunded a lot of times. So, but at Harvard, like they're like, you know what I mean, $1 billion endowment. You know what I mean. So it's like if you want to research like the history of, you know what I mean, a dust ball. You know what I mean. Like you can
Right.
the most obscure thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, we have a whole library full of, you know what I mean, like
Right.
books on that very subject. So so yeah.
25,000 books alone on dust.
Right, exactly. No, so that is the difference. Like you will get more resources, like,
Right.
and then you can take classes at the law school, at the business school. You could take classes at MIT, at Tufts. I took a class at MIT while I was there.
Right.
So yeah, you just have the access to that. And then like, it's a college town, so it's just so many other schools there. And then you have like um guest lecturers, you know what I mean, like celebrity guest lecturers that'll come and stuff like that. So we had a class with Yo-Yo Ma. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's like a
Really?
hilarious. But yeah, I think he's a cellist, right? He's a famous cellist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he like taught one of our classes. You know what I mean? So it's just
Right.
like stuff like that. That was like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Guys, we've come to the end of the road, and I can't let go.
Is that the lyric?
It's so natural. It belongs to. I think so. I don't really know.
I don't think so.
But before we end off, Mia, what is one thing that you want to leave the audience with today? What is one thing from this conversation that you think is like, take this home with you, look at it, and what is one thing?
What is one thing? So much, and we're multi hyphenate, so we got like a lot of things going on. I would say, see it, believe it, and achieve it. Make sure, in order to go places you've never been, you got to do things you've never done.
That is so
You
true.
can see it, but seeing it will help you to be like, you know what, I could believe it. Believing it will help you to achieve it. So,
What song you want to end off with?
I don't know. You got a song?
I like "It's the God in Me." That's my joint.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That's a banger. That's a banger.
Hey, I'm gonna step out this one.
It's the God in me. You think I'm so fresh.
You think I'm so clean. You think I'm so sweet. It's the God in me. What is it you think you see?
It's the God in me. It's the God in me. It's the God in me.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Beyond the Banter with Jaiyana and
Alonzo. And now our special guest, Mia Hall.
Thank you so much for coming out. Like,
Yes.
we really
appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the audience too. Y'all make sure y'all follow me at Mia Hall TV on all platforms.
All of
Yes,
that
we're
is
gonna
going to be in
tag
the description.
all the
YouTube
everything.
channel, everything.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
And cop that book.
Yep.
Yeah, guys.
Glow Girl. Out now. Thank you guys. This was Beyond the Banter. Bye.